One of the interesting parts about the Historical Society at that time was this wasn't the only project they had going on. They also had the Belvedere Mansion.
Now, was it vacant at the time?
The Belvedere Mansion was vacant about 91 when they bought it. Okay, and that was before my time with it. But the volunteers here had started cleaning it up. Again, its biggest occupants were pigeons there at the time they bought it. Yeah. And it had windows out and all kinds of problems and the like. But anyway, they were in the process of trying to restore it. They had taken out a loan in order to basically redo the plumbing and the wiring and make it weatherproof, basically make sure all the windows were in and everything like that. And the Totem Pole Park out by Foyle had also been purchased, and they were in the process of trying to restore it. So there was a lot for the Historical Society to get their arms around.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. One of the benefits of the hotel was we were able to do our own financing through this partnership all up front. So it didn't require continuing funding over a long period of time from the standpoint. But anyway, that was a real success, and again, it gave me a lot of satisfaction.
Been completed, is that correct?
It's all been completed. Yeah. The Historical Society and Metro Plains and Community Action have sold their interest to another developer who's restored the building again. And again, it's for people who are younger than seniors, younger than you or I, from a standpoint. It makes a little difference. So it's pretty attractive to live downtown in a lot of communities these days. You'll see it.
Do you know how many people call it home now?
Well, again, there's just 38 apartments. As I understand, they're all full, and there's a waiting list.
All right.
So that's good overall from the standpoint. But I got interested in it that way. After that time, I became the Historical Society president for 4 years. You always take your turn. You know, you get to say, okay, you accomplished something. Okay, you get to take it over. And then I ended up, during my time, the Historical Society looked at downtown. And downtown Claremore at that point in time was not the most attractive area. There were a number of vacant buildings.
Let us point out that I moved over in '63. Mm-hmm. My folks moved over here. Of course, I came with them. Downtown Claremore was mainly 4 blocks on Will Rogers Drive.
Yes.
Buildings on both sides. It ran from railroad to railroad.
Yes.
All the buildings, when I moved here, all the businesses were going full blast. Since that time, one full block has been demolished. And that was where the Hotel Mason would have been.
Yes.
The hotel, or the block where Hotel Will Rogers, the south side has been completely demolished.
Right.
The 400 block of Will Rogers, which would be one more block to the east.
You know, the block the chamber's in.
The chamber is in, is mostly like it was.
Right.
Like it was. And then the next block where the paper is, it, with the exception of where the paper has been moved slightly to the east.
Right.
And those buildings were tore down, but the hotel, I think it's the, what's the hotel's name on the corner?
The one right next to the...
Right on the corner where you can see the name on top of it. Well, anyway.
I can't think of that.
I can't either. But that hotel remains, and there's another building. The rest of the block has been. So we're talking about half of downtown is no longer from when I was in high school.
Yeah. But back then, again, there were a number of vacant buildings.
Now they're there, but they're vacant. So
yeah, they're there, but they're vacant. And again, if I just know from historic preservation, if you want to save buildings, you have to have an economic use for the building, or a rich owner who's willing to put money into it. That's your only choices. So if you really want to restore downtown, and at that time the Historical Society was looking at, we've got to save the downtown area, preserve it, then what you need to do is you need to find a way to put shops back in those buildings to make sure that the owners of the buildings make enough money to be able to fix up their buildings and keep it going. So we worked with the Downtown Merchants Association and the city and filed to become a Main Street community at that time. And again, the Historical Society's focus was on preservation of the district and the buildings at that time. That was our focus. And the second try in 2001, we were successful. We became a Main Street organization at that time.
That was year what?
2002.
Excuse me.
So it's still going. Allison, I think it's Dietzfield, is now the executive director down there. But it's a viable going organization. They've done a lot of work to fix up the buildings. They have shops down there. It's a vibrant area.
It is.
And so I think it's really been a success overall.
Oh, good.
But the focus then was to get it done. We had to raise money. The city agreed to match donations for a period of first 3 years. We got a lot of donations. The Historical Society made a very substantial 3-year commitment to do that. And it got done though. And that's the important thing from the standpoint. So when I was president, I got involved in that one here from a standpoint.